Hello chess friends! In this lesson we will learn how to checkmate using bishop and the knight. This procedure is complicated than the procedure which we have learned how to checkmate using two bishops. And it is more risky to break the 50 moves rule and not to win the game if you don't know precisely how to checkmate the king. But using this lesson you will overcome that problem and you will easily be able to checkmate using bishop and the knight in always less than 35 moves. First, what we need to know about this position is that bishop's color will decide in which corner checkmate can be done. If we have light squared bishop, like in this position, checkmate can be done only in h1 and a8 corners. So only h1 and a8 corners are our targets to put black king there and checkmate. The whole procedure we will divide into 3 steps. First step is to start from some random position like this one and force black king into so-called wrong corner. Wrong corners are a1 and h8. Second step is to start from the wrong corner and force black king into so-called winning position. And third step is to start from the winning position and checkmate black king. I guess that most of you will now ask me, but what is the winning position? How to know that we have the winning position? That is why we are going to start to learn this procedure backwards. First we are going to learn third step, then second step, and finally first step. This position, which you see on the board now, is called the winning position. It is winning position if we have bishop on b5, knight on d5, and black king, let's say, on d8. So for the winning position, we don't need to have our king, white king, at some specific square. It can be almost anywhere, but we cannot force black king into the winning position without the help of white king. So let's say that white king stands like in this position on e6. It is winning position because now black king is obviously in some sort of a cage and cannot escape. Now our plan is very simple. We just force black king towards the corner and we start with king f7 move. King c8, king e7, and now two options for black, of course, king b7 or king b8. If he plays king b8, very important and immediately winning move is bishop a6, because like this light squared bishop immediately controls the shortest diagonal. And after king a7, bishop c8, and when black king goes to b8 attacking the bishop, simply king d7 approaching closer, and after king a8, king c7, and now knight just need to act like a dark squared bishop and force the checkmate. Checkmate can be easily done from c6 square. So king a7, knight b4, king a8, bishop b7 check, and knight c6 is very easy checkmate. If after king e7 black goes to b7, then it is very similar. King d7, king a7, king c7. And after first move king a8, again our bishop controls the shortest diagonal, and now it's very simple to checkmate this king just by putting white knight on c6 square. And checkmate. So third step is very easy, that is very simple, straightforward procedure. Now we are going to proceed with the second step. Second step is when black king is already in a wrong corner and we need to start from there and force black king into the winning position. Second step is also a straightforward procedure. But the problem is that if you don't know this in advance, it is unlikely that you will be able to find all the best moves and win in a real tournament game. maybe 15 or 20 years ago when I played one tournament, a table next to mine, two FIDE masters played. One FIDE master had exactly the position like this. He had like 15 minutes on his clock and he was not able to checkmate. The game ended as a draw. That is of course the shame for FIDE master, but on the other side it explains that it is really complicated if you don't know how. But using this lesson you will easily learn how to checkmate. First move and first plan is to take control of g8 and h8 squares. We want knight on f7 and bishop on h7. After king g8, we cannot put immediately bishop on h7 because black king will simply capture, so we just need one simple tempo move played with our bishop, so anywhere along diagonal, just forcing black king to go to f8, and after bishop h7, we have completed first small part of the second step. Please take a look at this position and remember this position. I call this position characteristic position. We will need it for later. After king e8, now is the most critical moment for the players who don't know how to checkmate. Now they see that black king wants to go to d7 and they try to stop it with king e6, but there is no progress because black king goes to f8 trying to go to g7, you must play king f6, and all is just going back and forth, and no progress. That is why, after king e8, the winning move is knight e5. Knight from e5 controls d7 square, so black now has two options. One is to go back to f8, and that is what we are going to learn a little bit later. Or, second possible move is king d8, and the idea to try to escape along these dark squares. Now, we must allow black king to step on c7, but what we want is to take control of the squares b6 and c5. For that, we need to put our knight on d7. Of course, we can't play that immediately. We need to prepare that first, and we play king e6. After king c7, knight goes to d7, and we took control of c5 and b6 square. After king c6, logically black king wants to go to b5, but we stop that with bishop d3. And look again how we created a very nice barrier for black king. What he can do is only going back. King b7, and after bishop b5 move, we got the half of the winning position. To complete the winning position, we just need to reposition our knight from d7 to d5 square. After king c7, we just play king e7 move, and we come now to the first important moment. Now we carefully look for the next opponent's move, and according to that we play our next move. If black now put his king on the last rank, we have enough time to create the winning position just like playing knight f6 or knight b6, and wherever king goes, simply knight d5, the second step is completed and the winning position is created. From now on, you just proceed according to the rules from the third step. If at that moment after king e7, black stays on the 7th rank, now we have no time to reposition our knight to d5, because if we move our knight to f6, for example, then black king immediately escapes through b6 square. That's why we play simply king d8. And after king a7, just put king on c7, easily take control of the shortest diagonal, and now just reposition this knight, and then easily checkmate. Simply knight e5, knight c6, and bishop b7 checkmate. Now we are going to return to the position in which black king had two options after knight e5. You remember that I said that if he goes back to f8, we are going to talk about this later. This is a little bit different way of checkmating, but also very, very simple. we just play knight d7 and apply so-called W strategy. It is called W because these knight moves are just like a W letter. And we are going to apply all of those moves. After king e8, king e6, king d8, now we can stop him from going to c7 and we play king to d6. He can go now to c8 or to e8. If king goes to c8, simply knight c5, bishop g6 controlling the square e8, and now it's very simple. We will now easily take control of the shortest diagonal in a couple of moves, but first before that we will create the winning position. If black king goes to e8, then we just play bishop g6, and look at this now. I guess you remember we call this characteristic position. This is now the same position as very first characteristic position, just shifted for 2 files on the left side. Now we just proceed with W strategy, and at this moment we don't need to finish characteristic position now because black king is already in the corner. What we have to do is just to take control of the shortest diagonal and reposition our knight to c6 square. Very simple. We do it now, we take control of diagonal, and then we easily checkmate by placing the knight on c6. That would be all about the second step, and now we are going to talk about the first step. Let us start with the position from the beginning of this lesson. Here there is no any predefined rule to be applied like in the second or in the third step. We just need to use the coordination of bishop and the knight and to force black king towards the edge of the board. Depending on black's defense, maybe we will need to apply the whole second step, or maybe we will checkmate him directly from the first step or go directly to the winning position. It all depends from the defending abilities of our opponent. And let's see what we do. We just put our pieces closer to the center, and now we see how we limit possible moves for black king. Knight d3 check. Please note how bishop and knight have the best cooperation when both of them are standing on the same type of the square. Because bishop on light square controls all light squares, and the knight on light square controls all dark squares. So the most of the squares are controlled now. King f4, king d6, king f5. And now, 2 possible moves. Let's say that he goes to the queen side, playing king c7, or trying to remain in the center with king e7. If king c7, king e6, king b6, bishop d5, and look now how we easily take control of the b5 square with our bishop, and we create the half of the winning position. Now we easily reposition our knight, and the third step is may start, the winning position is created, and checkmate is very simple and trivial from here. If black king goes to e7, then king e5, king d7, bishop d5. And again, now black can go to e7 or to e8. If goes to e7, look at this plan. Bishop e6, king f8, king f6, knight c5, king d8, bishop d7, king c7, king e7, taking away all of the squares. And now after knight b3, another interesting barrier for black king. Bishop a4, king d6, and now we will simply checkmate black king without using second step and third step patterns. If black king is close to the corner, correct corner, it is just needed to take control of the shortest diagonal. Once you do that, it is piece of cake to checkmate. When the shortest diagonal is created, then it is very easy checkmate. If in the previous position black king goes to e8, then king e6, King f8, knight e5, king g7, bishop f3, taking control of h5 square, king f6, king goes to h7, and look how quickly we get our characteristic position now after king f8 and bishop h7. So the first step is completed, and we can start the second step and easily win the game. However, you need to practice this, and if you are constantly able to checkmate black king in about 35 moves or less, it means that you are now an expert for checkmating using bishop and the knight. If you need more than 35 moves, you should continue with practicing to be better. That will be all for this video chess lesson. If you like this lesson, please click like, share or subscribe to my channel.